morning, gorgeous. It's great to see you. And yeah, it's noisy out here. We're not going to stay out here, but I just got to show you the flowers because, you know, if we wait until the winds stop, it's not forecast to stop for another week at least, you'll never see it. So, here we go. Bluebells are starting. And these are the full-size, proper bluebells, which are just fabulous. They're just beginning, mostly buds, but oh, they're lovely. And yeah, there's a rose bush, which I'm hoping is going to do much better this year because, you know, there's an absent tree, right? And that means there's more light, and the fuchsia's probably going to do better as well. So it's all a big experiment in this garden. When you remove something big, we have iris. It's all, you know, I don't know how it's going to go. I do know that the weeds are going to grow. And I just had to pull that one out. Here's the beautiful bright orchida. Good. And it's just beautiful. Just grows back no matter how hard you cut it down. And you have to because it just gets monstrous. And we have cineraria, and that's me. And we have lilies coming up, and we have miniature roses that I moved, which are immediately saying, oh my God, I've got light. And we have more lilies, and we have the crazy sedum flowers that, you know, if I stand back, it's this massive thing, and they started off upright, and they've fallen over because it's been windy. And we have all these flowers, and I don't think I need to say much about that, except that you can see it's going to be spectacular. And in the background, we've got not quite the tail end of the freesias as well, but it's a lovely view. So let's get in close to some of these Spiraxis because they're awesome. Good morning, Robin. Lovely to see you. And here we have the flowers. And I love being able to share this. You know, it's one thing to say, oh my God, it's beautiful. It's another thing to be able to share it with someone else who can say, oh my God, it's beautiful. And look, we've got white bills and bluebells together. And you can see how different they are, really. The foliage of the white bills is finer than the blue ones. I actually have to move them. The white ones need to be in the back garden. So sue me, I like to have things in clumps, not mixed up. And the thing that's happening here is this magnolia is starting to flower. It's a late one, which is great, and it has very tough petals, so even when the wind is roaring and raging, a lot of the time it doesn't get broken so much. So, and it has a beautiful scent, a lot like lemon verbena. There's the bud. When it opens, it's it's beautiful. So, this is what's happening in the garden. There's another cineraria. You can see there's a lot of them. They grow here wild, and except if they're in the way of something, I just let them. So, and this is a Deutzia, and it hasn't sprouted yet, but it's going to, and when it does, it'll be lovely. But at the moment, you just have these beautiful brown twigs, and believe me, I appreciate that. Good morning, Amy. And look at the native ferns blowing in the breeze. So, there's lots happening here, and I wanted you to see it. Let's just take a quick look. Good morning, Jan. Quick look at the freesias while they're still here. See these golden ones? I can show you where they come from now. Golden ones. And then there's sort of half golden ones, right? There's crosses and crosses. And they started off like this. This was all that was here. And then somebody, go for a little walk, say hello to the tulips because they're beautiful. And then somebody gave me, in here, it's a bit fallen over, but there's a bright yellow freesia, and there should be more flowers. I don't know where they all are. There's a whole clump of them, but this is the one that has crossed with the white Burtonii, and you got all those different colours, and it's lovely that it does that. So there endeth the garden hybridisation lesson, but look at this, isn't it beautiful? I'm very grateful I get to share it with you. It's so much better when it's shared. Now we're going inside because it's just too windy. You know, it's calm, and then the wind roars through again, and I just don't want to fight with that. So, keys at the door. I've got myself organised. Going inside. Enjoy the sound of the wind chimes. Keys in pocket. Door shut. Looking into the lounge. Other door shut that I didn't do. I mean, why should my husband listen to me rave? He does anyway, but hopefully it's good. And put the phone in its little rack. Put the clock where I can see it, and off we go. So today I want to pick up exactly where we left off yesterday, Because yesterday we talked about a clear intention and an elevated emotion, and why that is what you need if you're going to create something new in your life. If you want to have a different experience, why that is so. And if you missed yesterday, I highly recommend that you go and listen to yesterday, because I do a fair job of explaining it. It's all information I've learned from my inspiration, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm so grateful that I know this stuff. I'm too warm now. I'll take this off. Oh, my crown, Linda. Thank you. Linda Gaylord made me this hat. It's beautiful. It's become my crown. So, just take it from me. If you want to create something new in your life, the door does not have a latch, Nora. It's either shut or it's open. You can only open it with a key. It's a deadbolt. So, if you want to create something new in your life, wherever you're at, and we all, being human, we all want something, right? That's just normal. That's being alive. If you want to create something different in your life from where you are, the way to do it quantumly, I mean, you can have an idea like, I want to get a house, so you have to go looking in all the places where houses are listed, and, you have to go and see 50 of them. I mean, my first husband and I looked at 40 houses before we found this one. And I walked into this one in the middle of a cold, southerly winter day and thought, this is right. It was just a resonance thing. In the days when I knew nothing about that. So, we went through the thing, and then we went through the thing of getting the mortgage organised, and oh my God, that was stressful, because I was so scared about money in those days, and everything went wrong. Anyway, that's the normal thing, and then you have to earn money for the next 25 or 30 years and pay it off. That is the normal way that you get a house. But there are also ways to manifest things quantumly, literally out of thin air. But to create something out of thin air, you've got to get beyond thin air. If you want to create something out of nowhere, you've got to get to nowhere. And if you want to create something in no time at all, you've got to go to no time and create it in that place. Don't keep it shut, Nora. It's hilarious. Keep going. It keeps the space alive. Lets me know there's life out there, right? So it's awesome. So creating quantumly. And remember we talked yesterday about the DNA, right? The experiment where the researchers had these vials of DNA, and they're told these people who were experienced intenders, experienced prayers, to first intend very clearly that the DNA would unwind and rewind, because that's what DNA does when it's regulated, when it's activated. When it does something, it unwinds, something happens, and it winds up again. So they were intending that, nothing happened. When they were experiencing gratitude for the fact that it had happened, nothing happened. But when they paired that clear intention, imagining, seeing, whatever it is that you do, because visualization isn't really enough. It's like you've got to be there. But they had this clear intention of the DNA unwinding and rewinding, and they celebrated at the same time. They were in gratitude that it was already done. They were feeling delighted because they had affected matter with their minds. Like, woohoo! 25% of the DNA unwound and rewound. It responded. This was at a remote location. Nobody added any chemicals to the vials. They did it with their minds. It took a clear intention and an elevated emotion. Now, why is that? The clear intention is literally like you walk into a restaurant and you say, I want this, and I want this, and I want this. It's like sending an order to the kitchen. The elevated emotion, again, when you're in a restaurant, you know that the order is coming. There's no question about the fact that you've sent an order to the kitchen, and the kitchen is going to bring you this food, which hopefully you're really going to enjoy, right? There is no question. There's no doubt in your mind about whether it's going to arrive. And you're sitting there feeling happy because you're going to have this beautiful meal. And at its simplest thing, that is a clear intention and an elevated emotion. Now, in a restaurant, there's no great argument going on in your head. We'll get to that, Linda. There's no great argument going on in your head or your heart about whether the meal's going to arrive in a restaurant, right? You're in a restaurant. They serve food. But in your life, there's a lot more that can argue with you, right? And I've got to respond to your question, Linda, because it's really good. There's a lot, but I've got to do this first. There's a lot in your life when you open your eyes, when you close your eyes and you've imagined it and you've felt it, and and you open your eyes and you see everything, nothing appears to have changed, and that's the moment at which you think, okay, well, because I'm not seeing any external evidence about the fact that something's changed, does that mean that I should just go back to being miserable because I haven't done anything? Misty, you made it, honey! So the answer is no. But why does it take time? Why do we have to do it, get to know time to do it, and then we have to come back to time and space and everything else and continue to hold that space in ourselves even though we can't see any evidence of change? What's that about? So just to go sideways for your question, Linda, choosing your intentions, and I have beautiful friends who, believe me, have struggled with this exactly. You just got to let go of the fact that you don't know what it is. You have the feeling, and there will be some things that you know, like the things around whatever it is that you don't know what it is. So stick with what you do know. I really do know I want this, and I really do know I don't want that, and there's a gap in the middle, but that's okay. It's so unknown, I can't imagine it. So you got to get okay with the fact that you can't imagine your completely different life. It took me a long time to do that, and it's not easy, right? Because we want to know. But that's what I encourage you to do, is not get obsessed about what you can't define, but to stay with the feelings. It's great you know what the feelings are. Just grab the bits that you can about, well, if I'm feeling like this, my life, these little bits of my life, I can say, I can imagine what that's like. Leave the piece that you can't get. It'll come to you. The more you focus on what you do know, your brain is going to find bits and pieces and slot them into place. It's like assembling a puzzle, but it's like you're pulling the pieces out of thin air. Because you're downloading them from the unified field. I know, you're doing the work, you're connecting with the field. So every time you go into the field, you're going to get a little bit more, whether you know it or not. This is exactly how it works for me. So, and I've got to not lose track of time because I want us to do some of this. So this really is the formula that you know some degree, some small aspect of what it is you desire, whatever that is, even if it's just, I want to feel free, right? And that immediately says there's a whole lot of things what freedom means I don't have to deal with, even if it's just what you don't want to do anymore or be or have or whatever. And this is how it is when I feel free, you know. You've got to nail something down, even if it's just like 2% of the whole picture, of the whole experience. Let's not do a picture, let's have an experience. You must have some idea of what the experience is that you desire. And then, for me, I have to shut out external stimuli, and there's a whole process I go through every day. Oh my God, I can't imagine my life without this. To turn off all the circuits in my brain that are firing with who I am, how my life is, what I can do, what's possible for me, all my memories, all the reasons why it is the way it is and will always stay like that. I get to turn that off, and it's taken me a year and a half, and I've gotten really good at it. I'm getting better at it every day, but I've got to the point where I really can do it. And it's so cool because the places I'm going, I couldn't even have imagined a year ago. So, oh my God, you mean this is all inside me? Yeah, wow. And it's indescribable, so I'm not going to try to describe it to you. I'm just going to say it's so worth learning how to do this. It takes practice. Is it worth it? Hell yeah. So we have to get quiet to some degree. And you've got to stop paying attention to everything in your world and in your life and in your body, which is very hard because the body can be very, very loud. And in your brain, the same, is very can be various screams that you can't run away from your own physical experience, right? But you have to take your attention off it enough to put your attention on what you want. And then, if that's not challenging enough, and for some of us it's hugely challenging, and sometimes for me it's hugely challenging, you then have to in some way, somehow, drum up some of the feelings that go with you being in that life that you desire. Because remember, this is the order to the universe. This is what I want. Even, this is just I know that I'm enjoying the absence of that thing that I know that I don't want. You don't want to focus on what you don't want, because when you focus on what you don't want, you just get more of it. Farah, it's great to see you. So, you have to get your attention on what you do want, and you have to embody some experience of what it's like when you have it. Oh yeah, It is very much like choosing from column A and column B. And we get better at it when we realise that it's actually available to us. I think sometimes we just go, oh, I've never had this, I don't know what it is. You've got to open up to possibility and just start playing and realise that it's going to change as you go. And something that fires you up now is going to lead you to something that fires you up more, maybe in a week. And that's okay. It grows, it changes. We sort of think, oh, I need my goals set in concrete. No. It's a growing thing. It's like a tree. It grows inside you. It gets bigger. And, a sapling oak is nothing like an oak at 1 year, and it's nothing like an oak at 5 years either. It's just going to keep growing. So just pick something. You get rid of some external stimuli. Calm yourself down enough to imagine. Put yourself in the experience. This is the thing. Don't visualize it. You'll be looking outside of the experience you want in your life your whole life if you just keep visualizing it. If you visualize a picture of a car, if you visualize a car in your mind, you'll get a picture of the car. If you want the car, imagine yourself in it and driving it and what that feels like. That's what we have to do. We have to put ourselves experientially in what we desire. And what that does, then, because you get this emotion, right? You get some shifting towards the emotional experience of the life that you desire. And when you have an emotion, you have made a connection in your brain and you have made chemistry, because the neurotransmitters that fire when you make a new neural connection, those neurotransmitters signal the hypothalamus, the pituitary. You get chemistry that flows to your body, your hormonal centers. You have an emotion, you change your genetic expression. And this is how people physically heal themselves, by changing what they're thinking about and how they're feeling. And that's why it takes time, because you might have been thinking and feeling the thoughts and feelings that have created your condition that you've had for the last 17 years. And you think it might take you a little while to think different thoughts and have different feelings and condition your body to be in a different physical state. And I can talk about this from experience because I've done it and I'm doing it. And it works. And it is work. But the work itself becomes a delight, and oh my God, how can I not know about this? And why wasn't I taught this at school, So, you're looking outside. Oh, bless you, Misty. That's the thing, We've got to create it inside ourselves. So before we completely run out of time, let's do this. And I am assuming that you listened to yesterday and you spent some time thinking and feeling, okay, well, what do I imagine in my new life? Now just pick... I said assign a symbol to it. Whatever it is, it might just be a letter, or it might be a picture of a pair of wings. I want to feel free. I don't know. You got to make it up, and you can experiment. It doesn't matter. Just try something. And you will have some idea of how it feels when you have that. So one or two of those things on that list of what you'd like, the menu. Pick some menu items. Okay, so then close your eyes. We're going to do this so fast, but you can expand on it. Close your eyes. Let yourself not see so much, because what does that do? It helps you turn inwards. Okay? And so close your eyes and bring your attention to your heart, this part of your body, in the center of it, not the outside of it where the bone is, but behind your breastbone. Put your awareness in there and breathe. And we've done this before, but let's do it again. Just breathe. And we don't need to analyze much, not for this. We just have to put our attention on what we want, because what I've discovered is that when I become what I want, my old shit goes away all by itself. And I get the insight about who I was and what it was, but I don't need to analyze it. That for me has been a truth and continues to be. So put my attention here and breathe in and out. And whatever your symbol is, wings for freedom, H for healing, J for job, P for purpose, light for enlightenment, like a starburst for I'm in love with life, or I feel divine, or I've had a miracle, whatever it is. Put it in your heart and pay attention to it there. Just pay attention to it there. And breathe in and out of that space. Pay attention to that symbol, whatever it is you've assigned. It might even be a red balloon for I'm just flying and free. You can have fun with this. You can be creative and playful, and it can change every time. And then So that's the thing, right? And you can bring to mind, well, if I'm feeling free, I'm only working part-time, and I'm working part-time on things that I adore. It's not work, it's not labour. I just love doing what I'm doing. It's so good. I'm enjoying myself. It's wonderful. And I'm just having a great time. And, I'm doing work that I love. I don't even know what that work is. I just see myself, imagine myself sitting at the computer, or being outside, or working with a team of people, or or being an artist, or creating whatever it is, and I can see myself, and there's a smile on my face, and I can hear lovely sounds, happy people working around me, or the sound of nature, or whatever it is. You're putting yourself there. Put yourself there. And as you start to imagine yourself there, you're going to start to feel the feelings. Or maybe you feel the feelings and you start to imagine yourself there. This is how we do it. You are saying to the universe with your thought, this is my experience. This is who I'm being. I am being this person that feels free and healed. And it came out of nowhere, and I don't know how it came to me. It just did, because I became it. I stopped being that other self that had all that stuff going on, and I just became who I desired to be. And you're feeling it now. You feel it in your heart. And it feels really good to step into that space, even though you don't know who you are when you're there. I don't know. I have some ideas now, but when I started doing this, I had no idea what my future might hold. I just didn't have a clue. But it didn't matter. I really discovered this. It just doesn't matter. Our hearts do guide us. And they guide me most effectively when I am just inhabiting the energy and the feeling and the emotion and the experience of who I want to be in my future. I do not want to look back. I am not interested in looking back. It just takes me back to the past when I look back. And there's a lot of different ways of doing this, but this is just my truth. I am so not interested in who I used to be. Because the minute I start going back there, it's just painful. And when I fire up those painful memories, that fires and wires those connections in my brain that I am doing my best to prune apart. And it fires and wires, and I get the old chemistry and the old emotions that I don't want to feel anymore, and I don't want to give my cells that message, because I don't want my cells to express what they're told to do when I'm feeling desperate. I just don't want to do it. So I'm just not interested, in my past. I'm interested in becoming and being my future right now. And that is how I do it. That's how I've learned to do it. So, it is Friday. We are out of time. That means there's going to be resonant replays for you over the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me in this, new old space. It's still me, but now it's on the page and it's all working fabulously. It's so exciting seeing my page come alive. I've sort of been building it and ignoring it, and now it's like this place where stuff is happening. It's amazing. Thank you so much for being part of that, for commenting, for being, participating, for being with me. I will see you on Sunday, Monday, and until then, much love. Bye-bye.